hustle and bustle of Northeastern life takes the Highline Racing League ASC Services and Supply Premier Series to Michigan International Speedway for yet another great showcase of all-around high-class action. And it's going to be the Bearcat Motorsports 175, the race name, as we get this show underway in due time. This is going to be yet another race indeed. We'll get the race number here on your screen in just a moment. 7th race of the season out of 16. And as it stands, qualifying has just begun with 4 minutes and 22 seconds on the board for one of the fastest 2-mile circuits in America, Auto Club Speedway. It's Western Coast Contemporary. It's going to be a bit different in the future when it converts into a short track. But tonight, the Northeastern way of life is what we are going right by as Tyler Rush is in a rush to get it done. MDLXL, thank you for stopping by as we get things going here. And it's going to be a great night of action. 87 laps to do it as Tyler Rush rushes by again. Down the start-finish line, we are green and qualifying for 2 timed laps to get this one done. And this is not the Southern 150. We'll get that fixed in just a moment and give us that moment as we get things underway. It's going to be the driver in that number. Well, the 72 machine out in front here in qualifying for now. And as we get things sorted out, you can see that man in Tyler Rush is on a tear so far. And as Tyler Rush makes it down, he's using that middle groove. And Dylan Clark right now going to be all the way on the high side. So differences in the lines being taken. And it's evident that every driver has their own preference as the night goes on. And now Dylan Clark going to be off of the timing charts. Brad Kress pole position. He has it provisionally as we get things started. It's going to be Crest with a 38.962 usurped by Adam Bozzi, and he's going to go up to the top of the board with a 38.908 as we get things rolling. That number 27 machine going to be the top man on the board for now by 46 1,000ths of a second. It's going to be then the number 2 machine on the board, Scott Wheeler, in that number 97. Then Brad Crest going to be in 3rd. Tyler Rush makes his way into 4th, and Colton Gardner rounds out your top 5. And we're going to take a brief intermission to get this one started here. And as a matter of fact, as we have just a bit of time, we will take it to a Fireball Talks non-stop advertisement break. So give us just a moment as we will be right back.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
This message is brought to you by the rebrand of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This publication may not be reposted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. NASCAR Camping World Ford F-150. NASCAR Xfinity Ford Mustang. NASCAR Cup Series Next-Gen Ford Mustang. Arca Menards. This has been the publication of the redesign and rebranding of Throttle Graphics and Designs. This message may not be reposted, republicated, or rebroadcasted without the authorized written consent of Throttle Graphics and Designs. Thank you, and thanks for your time.
And we're going to be good to go, thankfully just in time. We get it all fixed up, and let's head back to your uninterrupted qualifying action live on FTN. Thank you for sticking with us there, as you're not going to miss much of a thing. Now it's going to be Scott Wheeler, top man on the board, with 23 seconds remaining here on the charts. A great run for him so far. Dylan Petit going to be on the track there, but it looks like the only man taking laps is going to be Jason Harris in the number 88 machine, as we will reload your timing and scoring to get your starting grid up. And in perfect time. It's going to be the 88 getting his final lap in, and this will be the moment. Jason Harris comes down the line. Will he be able to get a time lap in? No, he won't, but it's going to be one man with a timed lap to remember. How about the 97 machine, your defending champion, going into the 15th season of the Highline Racing League, and tonight is the night he might just be able to return to victory lane. Oh, so close in Daytona. Close, however, is no cigar. As we get the drivers lined up once again, you can see your posted are there on your screen. So let's get right into it. Without further ado, this is your starting grid for the Bearcat Motorsports 175, and it's going to be all about the driver out in front. And Scott Wheeler with a 38.789, the pole position by a decent margin, but it's not going to be all too wide just yet. It's going to be Tyler Rush keeping him honest with a 38.837 in position number 2. From there on out, third of the board is going to be Robert Kenny with a 38.843, and the man who rounds out your top 4 going to be Casey Hesher with a 38.852. That's going to be the Connor Holden machine. Fifth on the board, he'll have a 38.853. Dylan Clark's going to be in the 6th spot with a 38.862. And going back up to the front of the field, Chad Winstead is going to be in 7th, 38.874, with Kendall Kerr in the 8th spot with 38.879. The man who rounds out your top 10 going to be DJ Stagger in the number 64 for Swamp Motorsport. And the man in 9th, Dylan Batiste, going to be up there in that number 31 with a 38.877. The spread of the drivers in the top 10 is just about 1 flat tenth of a second in terms of qualifying time. These times are close and the competition is that much closer. It's going to be 11th on the grid, Brad Crutch with a 38.904. 12th is going to be Adam Boswick with a 38.908. Corey Blevins, the number 13 machine, puts it into the 13th spot in qualifying, 38.913. And then it's going to be Jackson Hartman rounding out the 7th row on the outside line. He'll have a 38.921. Roberto Ramirez is going to be in 16th with Colton Gardner in 15th. They're separated by about 200th of a second with Caleb Morrissey rounding out in the 9th row. He'll be with a 38.944 alongside Justin Gibbs and his 38.987. Alan Kuhlman in that top 20 with a 39.013. He dominated at Darlington last week. Will he be able to go back to back once again? It looks like tonight is an opportunity to do just that, but Matthew Rodriguez with 39.024 going to be in 20th. From there on out, we're going to have to go just a bit quicker here. James McKee going to be in 21st. Kenny Brooks going to be in 22nd. Ty Smith 23rd. Dalton Beard 24th. And Terry Brooks going to be in 25th with Ryan Potter beside him in 26th. Toby Wedgwood is at 39.169. 27th. Jacob Halm going to put it in the palm of his hand at 28th with 39.2, and Andrew Baker cooks his way into the 39.209 lap time, 29th for him, as Jeff Morash is there in 30th, 39.369. The final 2 drivers going to be Jason Harris and Dylan Body without a time, and that will be your starting grid for tonight's event, the Bearcat Motorsports 175, as Scott Wheeler passes by once again. And let's get this thing kicked off. Everything is in play, and it looks like we got our advertisement break out the way just a bit early, so you'll have some uninterrupted coverage from here on out. Some 87 laps, not including our 1 overtime attempt we are eligible to have. So with that being said, fast-paced racing, we expect it. Last time we went to a 2-mile in the Highline Racing League, it was Auto Club, the season opener. It was not for season 14, but it was the first race we broadcasted on FTN, and they were lightning fast. And that time by, it was one incredible show. Tonight, we have an opportunity to see yet another, so let's get back into it once again. Gonna be led off by the man in that number, well, the number 97, and here we have it. It's going to be Scott Wheeler out in front with Tyler Rush there in 2nd. Robert Kenny going to be in 3rd, and Casey Heschel in the Fantastic 4. And it's not going to be a superhero team, but super drivers make it up. So let's go back down at it once again. Now pace car goes off. Scott Wheeler going to be able to turn it on, and here we go once again. Wheeler leads with Tyler Rush in 2nd. The green flag's out for the Bearcat Motorsports 175. And just the start that Tyler Rush would have needed there. Lap 1, he's trying to out-pizza Scott Wheeler. And so far, he's got a good claim at that opportunity. Will he be able to keep it all the way there? Maybe not. He goes just a bit up high, and Scott Wheeler able to take him up high as well. And it's going to be a battle of slide jobs that time by Tyler Rush, going to be able to slide down to the inside line and keep himself in tow with Scott Wheeler there in first. Casey Hesher going to be there in the number 49 machine in third, so out in front. So far, it's been a nice and smooth night. Very calm driver to kick this one off. Connor Holden holds on in fourth. That number 81 machine is going to be just outside of the podium here and just inside of that top five. So a great start for him as the 49 machine now gives a bit of a shove to the man in that number 72. And now it's going to be go time for Tyler Rush as Scott Wheeler gets himself right back out up front. And how about that for the man in the number 97 machine? A great start once again, and it looks like the king of last season in the Next Gens is a king again at a 2-miler, Michigan. He leads the first 2 laps as we had it a third on the night. It's going to be Tyler Rush there in second, Casey Heschel in the third spot, Connor Holden right there in fourth as Robert Kenny makes his way in to the top 5. It's going to be Brad Kress in sixth, Taylor Petit going to be in seventh as Kendall Kerr makes his way into eighth, and the top 10 is stacked with Toyotas, Fords, and Chevys alike as it's going to be the bow ties in the 29 and the 21 teammates no less pushing one another there in the Blacktop Racing Camp. The Constructors champion last time we went racing, of course, last season, but this is this season, and we got a whole new ball game with a lot of competitive drivers to keep an eye out for. And right now, one of those competitors in between the teammates, it's going to be Dylan Petit, and Petit right now going to be scored 7th on the board as they come down the line once again. The number 31 machine keeps himself right there in between the battle. The 72 machine, Tyler Rush, going to fall off just a bit. And now Casey Heschel makes his way into second as they go side by side through the turns and down the back. And every time they go down that back and they keep such a close proximity to one another, you have to ask who's going to make the first mistake or perhaps bite the bullet a bit too hard. Right now, nobody has, as Dylan Clark keeps it 3 abreast with the man at the number 21 machine in Kendall Kerr. The 13 of Corey Blem is going to rise it high, and it's going to be all about rising and running here, and it's not going to be mathematical for some drivers, but calculation is going to be required as they go 3 abreast once again. Dylan Clark going to see that's going to be the number 21 in front, going for that moment, and now it's going to be DJ Stanger there in the mix himself, and he was a winner earlier this week in the Integrity Racing League at Bristol. But this is the Next Gens, and it seems like the Next Gens is going to be a whole different ball game for every driver. No matter how good you are, you have to make sure that if you're near or far from your competitors, you're able to adapt. And right now, with close pack-like racing at Michigan, Stagner's been able to adapt quite well. Now he makes it by methodically through the number 49 machine of Casey Heschel. It seems to be a game of pick me in a way to get up to second and then fall back. You know what it almost reminds me of? Old artificial intelligence racing, AI racing to say the least, in old NASCAR games. In a plate track, you get up there at Daytona or Talladega, and you get a chance to line yourself up to get to that lead, and then the AI will take you right back over, and you fall back like a rock. Right now, it's going to be another driver going at it. That's going to be Robert Kenny in the number 10 machine, and he's going to be able to dive down to the inside line. Kenny in that blue and black number 10, able to take it on for the Chevys. No, it's going to be Toyotas as the Super Ovals take over the Blue Ovals and the bow ties here in Motor City. And the heart of motor racing, Robert Kenny, gets it out in front. Brad Kress going to be there in second. Scott Wheeler holds on in third here, and they're going to be side by side. The number 97 and the number 31 are, as Brad Kress keeps himself in tow down to the line. He'll be once again for lap number 8, but right now Robert Kenny now has Brad Kress chasing him, as Dylan Petit and Scott Wheeler going to be a bit of trouble as Connor Holden goes down the inside line in the Chevrolet accessories machine and looking to accessorize his run, going for a 3-wide pass. That's one way to do it, and it looks like right now he might be able to make it work, and that it looks like he has it. It's going to be a bonsai 3-wide move, but he makes it happen, and it's no kamikaze that time by side. Dylan Petit's going to have a bit of a run, but Scott Wheeler pushing him for the fun, and it's going to be a fun ride so far for every driver, as it seems like all of the drivers have made it to the green flag, Jason Harris included, all 31 of which are within 5 seconds of the race leader. Now out in front, it's going to be Robert Kenny with Brad Kress there in second. The Blacktop boys now going to be up in that top 5, led by Brad Kress. And Kress had an awful lot of pace and practice and qualifying. And how about it down to the inside line. The number 10 machine holds on strong. Brad Kress keeps it in second. Dylan Petit holds on in third. And you can see that Connor holding in fourth keeps himself nice and smooth. The top five now going to be single file as they go double file further on back. How about this? Jackson Hartman kicking it off at a 2-miler where we last saw him contending. You can see that number 19 machine has just enough speed to keep himself in the battle for the top five here. Very nice work for him so far, and it appears that he'll continuously be able to work his way right through. How about that? Scott Wheeler going to be in 8th, and Matthew Rodriguez going to be in 9th. It's going to be the number 51 machine up high, and it's going to be a steak and shake machine shaking his way through the field, and he does just that. How about it? It's going to be double file. Now the 49 machine goes down to the inside line. Look at him go, and Casey Heschel makes a move once again. Heschel making himself known, and he continues to put together a very good run on his end, and side by side, he'll be with Justin Gibbs here, and Gibbs trying to give him a run for the money. So far, though, the top dozen drivers are beginning to file out further and further from home, and it's going to continue to be a great battle to watch out for as the 49 and 72 take another on. Once again, Adam Bonzi going to be there, 13th on the board. He goes just a bit up high, and with these drivers going side by side right in front of him, Bonzi might be able to take advantage. He's got the title sponsor of this event in tow, and you can see, taking a look on board, that Bonzi's getting closer and closer. And letting off just a bit, the 49 machine. There it is, Casey Heschel. You can see the rear view mirror in frame here. So Bonzi's got a lot to keep an eye out for. The 27 right there in the middle of the packet as they all shake the camera on their way around. It's now going to be side by side for the race lead. The 31 and the 10 down to the inside line. He's going to be able to go. And the Menards number 31 puts himself into play with the number 10 machine. And now it looks like Kenny has a bit of a disadvantage that time around as they come down to the line. Once again, it'll be Robert Kenny leading the way, but not without close competition. How about this battle? And now it's going to be all about methodically making your way through with tire wear. Tire wear at Michigan is in fact a real thing, and it almost is a given to the track this fast. Now it is no Auto Club. Auto Club is all but disintegrated, but these guys out in front know that at this speed of almost 195 miles an hour unrestricted, you do have to worry about how quick you're going and how that will affect your tires. Now, it won't be too much of a big factor so far. They're only about a few tenths off per lap right now, but when it continues to get into the more extreme range of the race, we're getting there. 12 laps ended of 87, so keep an eye out for that. We could see some more tire wear becoming a bigger factor as the night goes on. That time by, your race leader ran a 39.606 in clean air, and Dylan Petit ran a 39.729 with Connor Holden right there behind him. It's going to be Brad Kress, and Kress now goes side by side. It's a battle between the highest ranked Chevys on the board, and it looks like so far DJ Stagner now in the mix, and he's going to put him Chevy into tow in Connor Holden's draft as the track is a big factor despite the fact you do let off here in Michigan. And unlike a lot of plate tracks, Talladega, Daytona, or Atlanta, in the modern day, these cars do not have enough horsepower or do not have enough torque overall to put themselves at risk of going a bit too quick to the turns if they hit flat to the floor. This is not the mid-80s or the 90s here. You don't have to let off all too much, and it's almost flat to the floor all the way around. Here at Michigan, though, that is never the case, and while it is a very fast track, almost unrestricted when it comes out of the straightaways, these turns, you have to keep yourself in the wake of another driver to go that much faster, and then you have to think about what to do next. You can't keep it flat to the floor all night long, so you do have to put a little bit of work in it mentally, and the mental work alongside the physical work, it takes a toll on drivers in the real world, and it will take a toll on anyone here in iRacing. Take a look on board with the man in the number 10 machine. This is Robert Kenny's on board, and right now, it looks like he's got a really nice Waluigi helmet on, and how about that? The video game is crossing over with other video games, and a metallic visor keeping that reflection going, and for the Waluigi, absolutely an incredible helmet there, but nonetheless, we're not going to take away from the racing experience. You can see minute handwork through the straightaways, but then you get to the turns, and he has to just delicately make his way down, and it's a slope down to the bottom of the apex. Then he works his way back up slightly, and slowly but surely makes his way through. The driver of that number 10 machine has some very nice gimmicks in and out of that car, a beautiful paint scheme, has a helmet to go with it, and now he's got a great run going, cooking up something special. Robert Kenny is, as Dylan Petit going to be there in second, and Connor Holden is there in third. How about Caleb Morris? He won at Nashville earlier in this season. Right now, the man in the number 6 machine rounds out your top dozen, and he's one of the top dogs this season so far. Certainly a great start to him, and a very good showing from him. How about this? And down to the high side, it's going to be a little bit of a movement down for Kendall Kerr. He's still way up high, but one driver goes all the way to the wall. It's going to be the man at number 21 in Kendall Kerr. Caleb Morrissey is going to be right there in the mix. Now it's going to be double file right outside the top 10 barrier. Scott Wheeler now going to be in 9th, and Matthew Rodriguez makes himself known in 10th. Jackson Hartman going to be in the 6th spot, however, and it seems like side by side of the line they will be, as this battle right behind the top 5 is just about as intense as that behind the top 10. Jackson Hartman, one of the most successful drivers in this series' history. Now Scott Zellner, all-time race winning leader when it comes to the standings, 11 wins in his entire career in the Highline Racing League, the most of any driver. Well, he's taking a break from real-life racing, or IRL racing as you might say it, but it's more about taking a break from online racing, as that's where we see him here. The racing for him going to be out of the way, as he's got many more real-life things to occupy himself with. But right now, Jackson Hartman, one of those other incredibly successful drivers who keeps himself in the mix time after time. And Jackson Hartman there in 6th, Corey Blevins in that top 5, and Blevins had an awful lot of pace and practice. He's putting it to work right about now. As you can see, the number 13 is in the mix. Side by side now, it's going to be between the number 19 machine and the 64 of Stagner, as they are not stagnating at all. The battling is fierce, and Kendall Kerr going to go 3 wide there for position number 9. And now it's going to be a big 3-wide shuffle down to the stripe, and Michigan with about 5 or 6 lanes of action. It seems like all these drivers are finding their own preferred grooves. Some drivers like it low, some drivers like it in the middle, and some drivers like it high. But it might be also that some drivers don't like where they are. Quite frankly, you could be caught in a situation that you don't want to be in very early on, even in the later portion of the race. That just happens to some drivers, and some are able to avoid it, some not so much. So right now, a driver like Wheeler might like where he is at right now, as he's going to be side by side with Stagner to get a few spots back up on the board. But a driver like, how about the Chad Winstead machine, who was caught 3 wide in the middle very early on of this one? Well, he might have not liked that at all, as a number 34 machine inching slowly but surely closer into that top. And Winstead right in the mix, and down to the inside with Tyler Rush. It's going to be rushing in the 72 machine, as it's going to be almost some contact there from Chad Winstead. Take a look on board with the number 72 in Tyler Rush. And Rush right there out in front. You can see Brad Kress now crosses over to the inside line of every driver trying to make a move of their own. Dylan Clark, you can see, now has one driver beside him. And double file the 5 machine is with that number 29, and you can see that's going to be now Casey Heschel taking it side by side to the line, and every driver using every bit of momentum, and this conservation of momentum sometimes becomes an aggressive use in just about a lap's time. Some guys trying to pull it back and then take it right on, as side by side Heschel now going to be 3 wide with the Brad Kress machine and Dylan Clark in tow. 21 laps in out of 87, and it's all about making yourself known at the very start of it, building trust as the night goes on. Stagner going to be fighting with the man in the number 31 here for 5th. Corey Blevins going to be in 4th, as Jackson Hartman has been able to make his way out of that battle and take himself into the 3rd spot, and he's having one great night, and this could be a return to form for Jackson Hartman. Look out for this man as the season goes on. Great to have him back. Only ran a few races last season, but now he has returned, and he is looking as confident as ever for Shriners Hospitals for Children, a great cause he's driving for, and right now he's driving the race of a lifetime, as this is the best we've seen him all season long. Jackson Hartman there in 4th, and Corey Blevins with the pace and practice has made it perfect, and he's now chasing down the leaders. He is currently in third and the fastest man in that top three by a tenth of a second last time around. Robert Kenny, though, look at the gap he has, as he has something to behold here. He's got several tenths, if not a half second, over the man in that number 81 machine, and Connor Holden holds on with Robert Kenny out in front. 23 laps in out of 87, and you can see there is very little that separates Robert Kenny here from perfection itself, as he's gaining slowly but surely on Connor Holden, and with Holden being a bit slower than Robert Kenny is, it's going to hold back Corey Blevins, as now side by side, it's going to be Jackson Hartman going right for it, and down to the inside line, Jackson Hartman makes it so, trying to get position number 3. He's going to be able to get right there, side by side, down to the line. They might be able to stay that way, and they are now double file. Take a look on board with the number 13 machine, as it's going to be side by side across the line. Stagner now behind him, but it looks like Jackson Hartman going to be dead even. We'll try to get a better look at it as the night goes on. There we go. It comes right in the frame. These side-by-side battles with perfect viewing angles thanks to TrackCam22.com. And how about that angle indeed? You can see how close these drivers are to one another, and they are not getting nervous, or at least they're not getting visually nervous, as their cars seem to be planted just about perfect. And that's the way I want to see it. Drivers who have confidence to make moves race in, race out, and their consistency in their controlled aggression is what makes great races in the Highline Racing, and we seldom get a race that is far from being amazing to watch and amazing to drive in. As right now, it's an amazing feeling for Robert Kenny. He's out on the pack by a second here, as now Jackson Hartman has been caught up to by a good majority of this field. So it's going to be Kendall Kerr, DJ Stagner, Scott Wheeler, and Casey Heschel, and now he's going to be in a bit of trouble. 25 laps in out of 87 for the DJ Stagner machine. Now he's going to go side by side with Jackson Hartman. This is going to be the 4th spot for him. He's going to be able to get it done, and the Swamp Motorsports machine is far from drained. He gets it done there. He's going to be in 4th. Corey Blevins is currently in 3rd, and the podium places, they're separated by about a second. DJ Stagner separated to Dylan Clark by about the same distance. That's going to put it in perspective for you. That's how close these guys are from 4th all the way down to position number 12. 12th spot is as close to 4th as 3rd spot is to 1st. So how about that gap? As right now, it's just been a dominating performance from Robert Kenny, and you can see it from the rear view camera. Nobody's able to get up to him this time around, although Connor Holden is now looking to be faster and faster in that time by. He gets a major run, and this is what happened when the draft begins to get more and more intense. The more you get drafts, the faster you can go, and the more of a pull you get to the driver right in front of you. And you can see right now that pull is very, very extreme, as the number 81 machine makes himself part of the action in a much more pronounced way. And as the draft gets more intense, the faster you can go, and the closer you get to that race leader, you have much better opportunities at that victory overall. 27 laps in out of 87 here in Auto Club's more northeastern contemporary in Michigan, and it looks like it's been a great show. Even if the tire wear has not been extreme, it is becoming a bit of a problem. Now Robert Kenny, that time by, ran a second and a half slower than his all-time best lap, so the man with rookie stripes leading the way is certainly showing some signs of tire wear, and it could be inexperience that's causing him to fall back just a bit. These drivers who've been racing for season after season for more than a decade against one another are now beginning to catch up to the man out in front, and this is not a disservice to the man who's out in front at all. Robert Kenny has had one hell of a race, but Connor Holden now knows that he might have something in store as he goes down to the lower groove here, and dynamic grooves out in front, as well as what we see in the middle of the pack. Checking in the middle of the pack, how about James McKee, the man who's been on a hot streak this season, winning at Daytona, winning at Dover, almost got it done at Darlington off strategy, but Alan Kunman was just too good on the nights, and right now, the number 9 machine, who's the winningest driver so far in the season, is laying off as the Justin Gibbs machine gets closer and closer to him. This is the battle for 50. This Alan Kunman, your last week's winner. Sponsored by Flow Racing, akin to Casey Heschel. And that same sponsorship, he's currently going to be right there in 14th. And slowly but surely gaining in on this big pack. And it's the epicenter of action here in Michigan tonight. Bearcat Motorsports 175 has been flying by so far. 29 laps of caution-free racing. You got your average. Comes out the way. It's going to be one driver. It's going to go way out the way. It's going to be Connor Holden. He saves it. And we'll have to check back on what just happened there. Almost a wreck. And let's take a quick look with a close-up drone shot. He gets squirrely on his own accord. No contact there. Hartman moves up in a second. And it's going to be Holden who keeps himself there in 4th. He's able to slot in nice and smooth. A great maneuver for the man of the number 81 machine as he keeps himself in the mix. But right now, slowly but surely fading back as DJ Stagner now is in frame, and the top 3 drivers in front of him are right there as well. Keep a lookout for DJ Stagner as he gets closer and closer to the men out in front. However, though, nonetheless, it's going to be Robert Kenny leading from Jackson Hartman, Casey Heschel, Connor Holden, and then DJ Stagner. Your top 5 now separated by only a second, just about flat. Now it's going to be 0.8 of a second. They all get closer down the back straightaway, but every time they go into these turns, they get more and more distance. It's going to be 10 o'clock on the eastern seaboard right now, and these drivers are not worrying about real life time at all. It's all about the laps and all about the speed. Every lap matters in a race as intense as this. And double file, Jackson Hartman goes down for the race lead, and this is the form of Jackson Hartman we've been waiting to see on FTN, and it looks like now he is right there to the point for the first time this season. Welcome back, Jackson Carr. He leads for the first time in the ASC Service and Supply era, and 15 seasons in, he's back on top with Robert Kenny right there in second. And how about this for Jackson Hartman? The 19 machine, one of the most successful drivers of all time in this league, is back in action, looking for win number 9 on that career, and win number 1 on the season. It's all he could ask for and then some, and right now it looks like he might just be able to make it happen as he comes across the line. Now the battle for second is brewing, and Casey Heschel is back in action. Heschel now looks to have saved this stuff better than just about anyone else, and now has himself in tow of that leader. 32 laps in out of 87. He's getting closer and closer to an opportunity, and when that opportunity strikes, he might be able to strike gold at the very same time. Heschel now going to be in second, and it's going to be Robert Kenny there in third with DJ Stagner in fourth. Adam Bozzi is going to see a wreck. There's going to be a spin right off the straightaway there. It's going to be one driver around, Tyler Rush. Drivers rush into it, but Tyler Rush goes down and around. He's going to be able to save it, keep it straight, but the yellow flag comes out nonetheless, and that's going to be 32 laps in, your first yellow, and that's going to be Tyler Rush down and around involved in that one. Let's take a half minute back to see what just happened. And coming off of the backstretch here, the number 72 machine tries to make a move. He's right there with Dylan Clark. Bumps Clark once, twice, then goes off the side pod there of Chad Winstead and gets disposed of and goes right up the track. And that's going to bring out your yellow. 33 laps in out of 87. So how about that for the man of the 72 machine? As they all get it reset, Tyler Rush back on his way, and Jackson Hartman here to stay in the lead as they all come down pit road inevitably this time around. We'll try to get word from Jackson Hartman as soon as his pit cycle is over, not to distract him at all, because pit strategy in the Highline Racing League means just about everything. You need to execute in prime time in this league, and nobody down on pit road just yet, nobody even close. So Jackson Hartman will be the first man to lead them down 33 laps in on this night already, and a great show has been put on, and Hartman, one of the most consistent guys thus far, as the 19 machine leads them to what could be their first pit stop of perhaps 2. We're not sure how long these cars go just yet on a pit cycle, but they certainly can go in excess of 33 laps. Let's go down pit road, led by Jackson Hartman here and now. The driver of the number 19 machine takes them in, and in second going to be Casey Heschel as Tyler Rush stays out on the track to try to build an advantage there, get a bit of a bonus point in as Heschel takes him in with Rush now out of it, and Robert Kenny coming slowly but surely into his stall, and now Scott Wheeler makes it in. Let's see who makes it off first from pit road. It could be anyone's game as strategy gets equalized once again. 34 laps in out of 87, going to be the man of the 97 right there in frame. One driver going to be out. That's going to be Jackson Hartman. Does he beat off Casey Heschel? That he does. It's going to be Hartman, Heschel, then DJ Stagner, followed by Robert Kenny, Brad Kress, Connor Holden, Corey Blevins. Then it's going to be the driver of Adam Bozzi there with Scott Wheeler, Chad Winstead, Dylan Clark, Alan Kuhlman, followed by Justin Gibbs, Matthew Rodriguez, Ryan Potter, and then the Ramirez Rodriguez duo, followed by Terry Brooks, Jason Harris, Caleb Morrissey, and Kenny Brooks. As it's going to be one driver who spins on pit road. It's going to be Kendall Kerr there. He's able to get it going, but going to lose an awful lot of time as a result. And Tyler Rush now in front with Jackson Hartman, your winner off of pit road. So let's get a word for the man who gets it done off pit road. And 34 laps in out of 87, one man in prime form tonight. It's been the driver of that number 19, and undeniably great run for him, and we'll see whether or not he's able to keep this momentum going, but so far he looks to be the best man out there, the 19 machine in Jackson Hartman. Let's get a word for the man leading the way so far, and one of the most successful drivers in this league's history is making history repeat itself. Jackson Hartman, Michigan, you come back in the prime form here and almost halfway in. How do you feel after a nice long green flag run?
I feel good. The car felt quick. I'm just kind of trying to hang out the best I can. I don't know. We're going to be close on fuel, so that'll be fun. I saw Casey pull off the pit, so I'm curious if that'll be the winning strategy. But just trying to stay up here, I think, is going to be the most important. Trying not to just lose it and fall back is going to be hard, because with the draft you can't really lose anybody. So I'm looking forward to the last half of this race, though.
And strategy is essentially all the part of the race that you need to focus on. Now, 1 lap to go. We'll keep it a bit brief here. Any final thoughts to wrap this one off?
Honestly, no. Just kind of trying to keep my head clear, try to keep the car clean the best I can. I've been having issues with always putting it in the fence at the worst time, so I'm really hoping I can just keep her together, keep her clean, and hopefully be talking to you guys at the end of this one.
And that's what we'd love to see. Jackson Hartman, top man on the board here in Michigan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And Jackson Hartman going to be back on his way for Team Trap House. He has one of the most successful drivers in a voice chat with him, Curtis Granger. And as it stands, Granger and Hartman are tied for all-time wins. And right now, Hartman looking to break that tie for second all-time. He could get it done here and now, as we have about 53 laps remaining on the board. We go back to green, it will be 52 laps left. The first 35 have flown by like nothing, but now it's going to be all about taking it home, and it could be any driver that takes it home as a race winner here and now. We'll see if Jackson Hartman will be able to hold on. Robert Kenny on the inside line, and strategies have shifted as a few drivers such as Hahn and Heschel have gone to the back of the field to get newer tires. Let's get back into it once again. 36 laps out of 87, your first restart of the night here from Michigan. Let's go racing once more. And yet again, a great start. This is going to be Connor Holden with much more trouble once again. And Holden's falling way down the field, able to save it once more. But undeniably, Connor Holden going to the void and back again. The 81 machine caught up on the same issue as before. We'll take a 15-second replay to find out just what happened to him. And you can see that Holden falls back down to 16th here. And he's already off the circuit by this point. Take it further back by 10 seconds. He gets right there with Robert Kenny, but he loses it on his own again, and this time going to be much worse. Able to keep it going, gets it off the loud pedal, and then gets it right back on the track just like that. But now he's going to be fighting in the thick of it with Endo Kerr, Matthew Rodriguez, and Robert Kenny. Gets it going 37 laps in out of 87, and far out in front, the man that keeps it going. Who else but the man in that number 10 machine? Now it's going to be Corey Blevins there in second. Jackson Hartman falls down to the fifth as it's getting more and more intense. In the middle, it's going to be 3 wide between Bozzi, then Wheeler, then Winstead, as they're going to make it 50 laps to go this time around. Let them go at it as they continue to battle to wits end. Now it's going to be Corey Blevins down to the inside line. 50 laps to go here in this event, and it's been a great one. The Bearcat Motorsports 175 miles to get this one done, and we have gotten through almost the first 82 miles per lap, and these drivers get through 2 miles in just about 40 seconds. The pace here, it is rapid, and this race has been rapid, as down to the inside line they'll go once again. It looks like Robert Kenny does choose, in fact, to go much lower than those he's battling for with the lead with, and it looks like Corey Blevins chooses to go up high to try to make an alternate strategy work out. Will it work out that time by? No, it does not, but he is far from done with his racecraft and its improvement, as now it's going to be the number 13 machine going down and in once again, and he'll have that edge over the number 10 machine. Corey Blevins, a new race leader, 39 laps in out of a total of 87, and it looks like it's going to be the edge to the man in that number 13, now over by 4/10. They're going to spin in the back of the field yet again, and it looks like the caution flag not going to be out that time around. They're able to save it, and it's going to be the man in that number 99, Ryan Potter, who almost went down and around, and we'll check once more. Unbelievable circumstances. Let's take a look at just what happened here. And evidently, the 99 machine looked to be in a big load of trouble. He taps Justin Gibbs, and they both immediately are able to save it. Justin Gibbs going to get the worst of it as he gets it back down, but much slower. And Ryan Potter taking a bit more of a rowdy way through. He's able to save it, does get out of anyone's way, but he almost destroys his car in the process. He's now going to be battling once again, and now behind Toby Wedgwood, and now behind Casey Heschel. The tires have been worn out just a bit, and Corey Blevins leads the way, and the gap It is growing, and the sea of colorful racing machines are there in the back. It's going to be 3 abreast between the 97, the 29, and the 5 as they're going to go side by side. Wheeler, Dorbanks, Brad Kress, and Dylan Clark now going to try to make it 3 for the pass. And the number 5 machine, who won at Watkins Glen, looking to go for win number 2 of the night and the season, as he is now dead even there with who else but Jackson Hartman. Side by side, the American Airlines machine does not want to make his car go flying like an eagle, but right now, the sign of American Airline, of course, success. American Airlines, in its essence, now as a driver in the top 5, just barely. Now Scott Wheeler going to edge him out there. 47 laps to do it, and these drivers are battling to wit's end. Only 1 caution tonight so far, and we know that these drivers can go at least 30 laps on 1 stint. Now, what does that tell us? That tells us that these guys have a car that can go for a long distance without much worry on fuel, but the tires are going to be a big factor in how these guys drive it. As it is, Corey Blevins is the number 13 machine, going to peep it out in front, and Corey Blevins wins the most recent stage. Now let's get your race information up on your screen, and it's going to be right there on, of course, the broadcast. Now, first stage break, it was not a caution, but lap number 20 was when it came out, and then lap number 40, Blevins led at lap 40, gets that second stage win, and no stage breaks in the Highline Racing League. We only have the stage to accompany them. So as you can see, a full daytime race, 87 laps in a partly cloudy sky here in Michigan, and you can see the clouds, very few on this circuit. And as they go through, no rainy days in iRacing just yet. We might get them in the future, in the very near future. But tonight, it has been clear skies for the man in that number 13. It is who else but Corey Blevins out in front, with Robert Kenny there in second, and Adam Bozzi in the 3rd spot. Your podium separated by 1.4 seconds. And exemplify how big that distance is, Adam Bozzi is separated to Terry Brooks in 13th by that same distance. 1st to 3rd is equal to the distance between 3rd and 13th tonight in Michigan. Closest battle on the circuit here going to be Kenny Brooks with the number 51 of Matthew Rodriguez. Rodriguez going to go up high. Colton Gardner right there in tow. And as they go across, you can see the 9-9 machine gets in the wall, and Ryan Potter. Kenny Brooks has the edge on the inside line in momentum, following Kendall Kerr through, and it's a great follow through. Kendall Kerr, one of the most experienced drivers in this league, and Kenny Brooks, one of those drivers picking up more and more experience for the ASC Services and Supply Incorporation, one of the biggest premier partners in this league, the title sponsor of the league overall this season, and they have stepped on board to fill a void that we desperately need to have filled, and they are a great supporter. The Brooks family in their entirety, we got to thank them for all of their support in the Highline Racing League. It would not be possible to have these series run without it. So without further ado, the number 54 machine going for the battle with Kendall Kerr now, gaining more and more time on the inside line as every driver is stacking each other up on the high side. And while they are on the high side through the straightaways, take a look at how they go through the turns. Caleb Morrissey following the man in that number 8 machine, Alan Kuhlman. The 6 goes much higher, about a groove higher for a moment, then he goes tries to diamond arc it down low, and while he does not get a pass done that time by momentum, it is forming, and now it's going to be the man in that number, well, the number 6 machine, getting closer and closer to Alan Kuhlman time after time with 43 laps to go here. It looks like he can only get closer, but now Chad Winstead, he's going to put his Valvoline number 34 into competition. Dalton Beer tries to get the better of him, and Winstead makes a dangerously good block, and while it was not a dangerous block, it certainly was one of those nasty ones you don't see all too often. You don't see them succeed all too often. So a great maneuver there for the man in that number 34. Caleb Morrissey going to be in the 11th spot, Alan Kuhlman going to be in 10th, and Jackson Hartman's going to be in 9th as they all roll through once again. Corey Blevins leads by over a second in Michigan. Unbelievable. Now Blevins with such a big lead, and the fact that he is gaining more and more time, it proves that something is going perfectly right for that man in the 13. You seldom see drivers pull away at Michigan, a plate track almost in its characteristics, but a pack track regardless of how you slice it. And right now, Robert Kenny, while he is gaining just a bit, has lost over a second in just about 10 laps time. You rarely see that on a track like Michigan and a fast circuit, the likes of which very, very often to see it replicated. Right now, nobody replicating the performance of Corey Blevins. He's out in front by over 1 second with 41 laps remaining. And take a look at Brad Kress, the number 29 machine, now pressuring Dylan Clark. Now, Kress and Clark had a run in at Darlington, so we'll see if there's any blood between these two. It was for the top 5 spot once again, and while it does seem that Kress has no ill will, he will not race that number 5 machine easy no matter who it is. and looking on board with the number 5 machine side by side. They are. Take a look at this angle, and you'll see if the number 5 puts a lunge in on the corner, that he will be able to see the number 29 in his quarter panel. But now Brad Kress has that edge side by side, and they are not going to be in each other's blind spots just yet, but it's going to be Brad Kress clearing him blind and making it work, as Dylan Clark now has a bit more pressure for the man in that number 64. Stagner is far from stagnating, and he's going to go up to high side once again. The Swamp Motorsports number 64 is far from getting himself drained. No energy has been lost so far, and no ability has been lost so far, as the number 64 machine now pulls in on the number 5 once again. Indicative of a great performance. Of course, the first half sometimes locks drivers in for a victory, but it ain't over till it's over. As the great Yogi Berra said, for baseball, it's so true for racing and simulation racing all the same. Corey Blevins in the number 13 machine rounds the back once again. Robert Tenney going to be there in second, and Adam Bozzi going to be in position number 3, as they're all backstretch battling right now. One driver that's going to be right there in the mix. It's going to be the number 27 machine, and it looks like Adam Bozzi is going to be there in the mix in the 29. The 27, however, nowhere to be found, and Adam Bozzi is actually going to be in that 27 that we were mentioning beforehand. It's Brad Kress in the number 29 machine. Time and scoring going to give us a bit of a kerfuffle there, as Jackson Hartman has fallen down into 12th on the board, and it could be different tire strategies working out better for some, worse for others. Now, Casey Escher has a 2-lap newer set of tire. Right now, he's in 15th. No, he's in 22nd. And while he is only about a second away from the man in 15th, he's still not close enough to make anything happen so far, and he still has to wait just a bit longer, as the 49 machine for Flow Racing has gone with the flow all night long. Maybe he'll be able to get just a bit more done as he goes down to the bottom once again. Kenny Brooks going to be way up high compared to him, but it's going to be a diamond arc once again for the number 49 machine, and that diamond is a bit higher and a bit rougher on the top side. They'll be going down the line once more to make it 37, becoming 36 next time around. As you can see, Corey Blevins now has some pressure from Adam Bozzi in it, and now the Robert Kenny machine, as they'll be side by side for a second. Take a look at this. And Bozzi right there in the number 27, going to be there in second. Now Adam Bozzi goes for the lead, and he's going to be able to make it so side by side. Corey Blevins had it for quite a while, but he did burn out stuff. Maybe he did. And now it's going to be the number 27 machine going to the point here in Michigan. How about that? And it's going to be the number 27 machine out in front with a man in the number 13 side by side for the lead still. We'll see how long he's able to hold on. It's Adam Bozzi trying to clear him this time around. Will he be able to do so? Title sponsor of this race is being represented by Adam Bozzi. He might be able to represent him well enough as they go down the back once again. Corey Blevins thinks better of it, and now he has a better run. He'll be able to clear him just maybe. No, he does not. And Adam Bozzi now has yet another opportunity to make it happen. Brad Kress goes down to the inside line himself. It's going to be Dylan Clark in the mix. DJ Stagner right there. Robert Kenny up to the high side, and now Corey Blevins going to lose a bit more time as Robert Kenny keeps himself in tow with the man at the number 29 machine in Brad Kress. Adam Bozzi passes by once again. One thing we got to mention, Adam Bozzi, a real team player in the Highline Racing League. Not only a great driver with a load of success to go after it week after week, also beginning the operation of the Highline Racing League Development Series, which will be the Texacon Truck Series, come to you live on FTN. Its first race, April 2nd, broadcasted by the great Alexander Balderas and River Page duo that we've come to know and love in the Full Send Super Speedway Series. Highline Racing League action coming to you on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Unfortunately for me, I won't be able to broadcast it myself, but a great team taking over for FTN's operations on the backup nights, and they will be able to back you up with some great content, a development series with great drivers proving their worth in the Truck Series, and we'd love to see it. And it's going to be a great opportunity for drivers to get themselves ready for the Premier Series, and it's going to be a way to step in to the top echelon of the Highline Racing League. And right now, only a few drivers, and it looks like now 6 of which are battling in the upper echelon of this lead battle. It's going to be Adam Bozzi with Corey Blevins, Brad Kress, Robert Kenny, and then DJ Stagner in 5th, and finally Dylan Clark there in 6th. And these drivers have been able to separate themselves from the rest of the field by a wide margin. That margin is going to be in over a second gap right now. How about that? As the number 27 machine holds on out in front. Corey Blevin's going to be there in second. Brad Kress going to be in third. DJ Stagner's there in fourth. And Robert Kenny holds on in fifth as Dylan Clark makes himself known in sixth. 33 laps to go here. 55 have already gone through. And now it's going to come down to the final stretch here. One caution tonight. It's been oh so clean. And only 21 laps into this run. We know we have a minimum of 10 before we get our pit cycle in. However, we don't know the maximum. We could be waiting because these drivers could keep us waiting. That's how long these guys can stretch out fuel. Very clutch racers at the tail end of races. They're clutch whenever they need to be. And right now, they just might have that clutch mentality. As you can see, Adam Bozzi now pulling away. And it could be drivers hitting the clutch to make sure they make it to the checkered flag. Stagner going to be there in position number 4 on the high side. He got one man right below. And that's going to be who else was the driver in the 13 and Corey Blevins, and Brad Kress in second. Now going to barrel down the backstretch once again, keeping himself right in the mix. 32 laps to do it here in Michigan, and Brad Kress in the Busch Light number 29 machine not going to take this battle for the lead lightly. He is all in for it, and now he's going to try to chase down your race leader. Dylan Clark going side by side with Corey Blevins there for fourth. He's going to be able to get it done that time by at the line. We'll be able to clear him. Not that time through. And you can see drivers pulling into frame. It's going to be Caleb Morrissey there with the man in the number 81 machine and Connor Holden. He's there with Alan Kuhlman as well. And now these drivers are beginning to slowly but surely tear their way through the field. Caleb Morrissey, one of those drivers who adapts later in races compared to earlier. And he always comes through at that checkered flag's time of fall. And he always makes himself known whenever someone needs to put together a clutch run. Be it Scott Wheeler, his teammate, a great show at Daytona until he got taken out. Be it himself at Nashville. Caleb's one of those drivers that always have it in his back pocket. When he has a great run, he'll show you what he's got in store until the very end. And I have trust that he'll be able to do so once again here in Michigan. 30 laps to do it from the Bearcat Motorsports 175, and that's 60 miles. We've gotten through the first 115 already as Bozzi leads by half a second of the remainder of the field. Now DJ Stagner going to be 4/10 off in second. Brad Kress going to be in third, and now they're going to be side by side for third. Chad Winstead right there with Brad Kress. It's going to be Ford on Chevy, Chevy on Ford, however you slice it. Multiple groups of racing being used side by side, and it's going to be Robert Kenny going 3 wide, but he's a lap machine, and that takes a bit of the excitement right out of it, but a great move nonetheless. How about that man and Robert Kenny making it through 3, but his 3 abreast motion is nothing to be worried about for the leaders right now. It appears the number 27 will just have to wait and see what comes of it. Now it's going to be the number 27 out in front. DJ Stagner going to be there in second. At a bit of a Road to Pro race update coming down the line for the Road to Pro series. The number 62 of Anthony Burroughs wins over Logan Helton. 62 and 63 come 1-2, and it will be the number, I believe, 54 machine of Kenny Brady or Max Brady coming home in position number 3. Back to the racing action here live on FTN. The Road to Pro series is in a conjunction with LSR TV and Terry Radford's guys over there. We thank them greatly for their participation in this project, as right now Adam Bozzi is not driving a project car. He's driving something tuned up for perfection. He leads the field by 1/10 of a second. And Chad Winstead right there in second with DJ Stagner in position number 3. Brad Kress going to be in 4th. Dylan Clark going to be in 5th, as it's going to be Scott Wheeler in 6th. And Corey Blevins in 7th. It's as closest battle in the racing circuit is now between drivers way in the back of the field. And those drivers will be, of course, in the back, as we mentioned. It's going to be 26 and 27th, Petit and Roberto Ramirez, and they are tearing the pavement up here. And could Ramirez have a move made on him? We'll see. Will it be vice versa? That also remains to be seen. As Dylan Petit loses a bit of time that time by. He has Ty Smith right behind him, 1 lap down, only 1 retiree, and it's going to be confirmed. Max Brady going to be 3rd on the board tonight. Kwame Swack comes into 4th, and Jonathan Lady comes in 5th in the Road to Pro Series. Same top 2 as we mentioned, Burroughs and Helton. As we go back up to the racing action up here, Corey Blevins comes down a pit road that time by 27 laps into his run, so he comes in just a bit early here, and maybe this will be a time for these guys to go in once again and change their path in this race. Remains to be seen, however, if they choose to do just that. And the number 34, Chad Winstead, is currently going to be the man at the top of the board. Gets it done by Adam Bozzi. Is still going to be there in second. And these top two guys separated by only about 0.2 of a second. And to put it in how close these guys are in terms of context, well, they're now only about 2 car lengths away at the very lowest. And they are tearing each other apart for position after position. 26 laps to go here. DJ Stagner going to be in there in third. And single file all the way out. It's going to be a big pack here as Colton Gardner tries to make it happen. Down to the inside on Kenny Brooks. Does he make it so? We can look on board. He has Casey Heschel right in front. And Heschel, his tire strategy, playing the long game with it. He started in 23rd on this run. He's up to 16th. But Colton Gardner comes in the pit road this time by. And pit stops are now in big swings as the number 40 machine going to come down with Dylan Clark, Connor Holden holding on strong, and the 40 machine makes it so. Chad Winstead leads the way here in Michigan, and it's going to be the man in second, Adam Bozzi there in number 27, and DJ Stagner is going to be in third as Scott Wheeler holds on strong in fourth with Alan Koeman now in fifth, and Koeman making his way back out front, a story of working his way back to the leader and winning at Darlington with dominating force shows that he's one of these guys not to mess with as the season goes on. And the Flow Racing number 8 has gone with the flow all night long, and it looks like it's been paying dividends for him as he comes out of the line. Once again, he's about 3 seconds off of your leaders with 24 laps to go. Chad Winstead now has a major edge, and Winstead has proved to be a road course ace, winning at Mid-Ohio last season. Looking to get it done on an oval here on FTN, and that's what we'd love to see. Chad Winstead always bringing together the heat no matter where he goes racing, and tonight might just be no different. Whether or not he's able to get it done, well, it's all up to him and how he performs from here on out, as it's going to be Corey Blevins who gets right by him. Now Blevins unlaps himself, and that could be the strategy that wins it as Andrew Baker goes down pit road himself. He'll be put 1 lap down on the same token. The 43 machine going to get back on his way, and now Chad Winstead might have to think about when he comes down pit road. Could it be here? Could it be now? Or could it be in the future? That all remains to be seen. And Chad Winstead out in front by half a second over Adam Bozzi. GJ Stagner going to be in third. Scott Wheeler going to be in fourth spot. And then Jason Harris rounds out your top 5 with Matthew Rodriguez there in sixth. Position number 7 going to be the man in the number 23 machine. That's going to be Terry Brooks. And then Jackson Hartman is going to be there in 8th. James McKee makes himself known. Now he's going to be in the 9th spot in the number 9 machine. He goes down to the inside line, and with 23 laps to go, become 22. You know what that means. Our TrackCams22.com, crank it up live and uninterrupted on FDM. TrackCams22.com, the best cameras on the iRacing circuit, and we love using them as much as we hope you love watching them live on FTN. This is the Bearcat Motorsports 175. We'll be right back, cranking it up here in Michigan. And with a total of 18 laps to go, pit cycles are in full swing. And as it stands, DJ Stagner leads 70 laps in out of 87. The man who led beforehand, Chad Winsett, is on pit road, and Stagner going to be rounding that final turn very soon. And as he comes down and around, it's certain the Swamp Motorsports number 64 machine has himself in perfect position to perhaps make it happen at the tail end of the day. As it stands, though, it's going to be a man out in front, Stagner in first, Matthew Rodriguez in second, with Terry Brooks in third, as Jackson Hartman makes himself known in position number 4. It's going to be Casey Heschel there in fifth, Jeff Morash going to be in sixth, and we are going to want to see much more of him as Kenny Brooks makes himself known in seventh. And how we take a lap on board the race leader currently in that number 64. And as you can see, Stagner that time bypassed by a lap machine in Scott Wheeler, and taking that ride on board, you can see the dynamic use of lanes is evident. Scott Wheeler using that higher line to start the turn, and now Colton Gardner, he is stuck to that track, is going to use the lower lane, and now he's going to keep himself much lower. He is stuck to the track like there is some glue on it, and that number 40 machine goes out of the inside once again. How about that? Gardner already off of the frame almost entirely compared to Stagner. And these drivers who have been conserving fuel all night long might try to go all the way. We saw James McKee did that in Dover, and DJ Stagner, his best hope at winning would be doing just that. If he makes it happen, well, I would not be shocked. Stagner's one hell of a driver when it comes down to strategic racing. We saw it on Monday night winning in the Ignite Series, but tonight he's looking to light the fuse in his own right as he tries to get it done in a series he's already a previous champion of, as now he's got some pressure in lap machines. Once again, that's Justin Gibbs there with James McKee and Kendall Kerr, and they'll all take up on the wayside here as Rodriguez is 6 seconds back. Matthew Rodriguez is on your leader here. There will be a slim chance for any driver on the old tires to get back to the lead. However, DJ Stagner, it might just be enough to get it done overall. The number 64 machine is still holding on to the track, and 40 laps into this stint, he's gone further than any driver has gone thus far and might be able to go all the way. DJ Stagner out in front by 6 seconds. Terry Brooks, though, going to be in third. As we did mention, Matthew Rodriguez was in second. Now the brothers are side by side for a moment, it looked like, but that's going to be Dalton Beer in the number 38. So don't get that one confused like we did right there. Jackson Hartman going to be right there with Casey Heschel and Flow Racing. Going to go with the Flow. He's going to be in fourth, as it's going to be Jackson Hartman now trying to get side by side with him. And Hartman in the number 19 machine with Jeff Morash in sixth. Roberto Ramirez is going to be in seventh, and Dylan Petit going to be there in eighth. It's going to be Ryan Potter, the 99 machine, in ninth. A tumultuous night for him, but it seems like things are all coming together for him at the tail end of it. So a great showcase from his end as they all slide through and through, and down the line they will make it 12 laps to go next time around. Right now DJ Stagner is about half a lap ahead of Ryan Potter, so if there's any confusion, that's exactly why. The number 64 holds on strong, and Matthew Rodriguez keeps himself in the mix. Matthew Rodriguez is going to be in second, but only now about 6.5 seconds off, and that is going to be almost insurmountable, bar a pit stop, which Stagner is absolutely determined not to have. And now 12 laps to do it here in Michigan. The Bearcat Motorsports 175 has been him just about all night long. Well, DJ Stagner, I'd have to say, might be one of the guys to pick from the start. Stagner, starting up from that top 10, has made his way around. He's been in the top 5, the podium, and now has gotten himself up into the lead by a very wide margin. But as it stands, it all banks on whether or not he's able to make it down to the line without a pit stop. He'd have to go a total of 54 laps, and there would be a one-stopper on his end. And we did say that for the winner, it could be one final stop there during our one and only caution, and it seems like with 12 laps to go, that could just be the case. Whether or not Stagner makes it all the way, it would be a sight to see, as he looks to be a two-time winner in 2 different leagues here in FTN this week, and it could be the most successful driver of our week The Swamp Motorsports number 64 looking to settle the score once again. Now he's going to be taken 3 wide by lap machines Baker and Harris. They get by him quite easily there. And now it's going to be the number 64 right on the back bumper of the 43. And even though he's one of the fastest men on the circuit, regardless of his tire degradation, he just doesn't have enough in store to make gains. And right now, those gains that he wants to make, he simply cannot. He has to stick to what he has, or he's going to face the music, fighting himself in the back just a bit too hard. Stagner right now going to make it down to 10 laps to go as he's far out in front. And right now the battle between Dylan Petit and Jackson Hartman, it's getting amplified. Matthew Rodriguez goes out in pit row with 10 to do it. And this could be it for the number 51 machine, but it also could signal the end for a guy like Brooks, a guy like Stagner, as Terry goes up into the second, Roberto Ramirez goes into position number 3. Roberto going to be third, Dylan Petit going to be in fourth, and Bennett's going to be the man in that number 5 machine when it comes to position. The 49 of Casey Eschel getting usurped by one driver beforehand and Dylan Petit, but now getting one spot back, so that's what you love to see for a driver in a situation like this, battling as hard as he can. Dylan Petit now going to be in fourth, but Casey Eschel is in fifth with Jackson Hartman there in sixth. Side by side, it's Morash and Brad Kress. Ryan Powder going to be in the 9th spot now. Down to 10th is Caleb Morrissey. And that number 6 goes to position number 9. And with 9 laps to do it, he's getting closer and closer to wit's end. But every driver looking to expire, or rather get themselves to the expiry date, which is in just a few minutes time. 9 laps to do it here from Michigan, and DJ Stagner holds on strong at the Bearcat Motorsports 175 as he now has very little pressure besides the pressure of saving fuel. It's going to be the Texaco number 52 machine of Toby Wedgwood going down to the inside line there, and you can see on board with Terry Brooks there, not close to anyone, but Stagner is going to have a lap machine getting right up to him, and Toby Wedgwood tonight has been in position number 26 almost all night long. He's 26th as is, so not his best night, but Casey Eschel in the 5th spot. Well, Stagner looks like he got to the wall there, and he's getting pressured big time, and that could be another mark on the coffin. Maybe not the final nail, but it's indicative of something worse to come for his number 64 camp. Now, Stagner, who was not the man leading at the point beforehand, Jackson Hartman was, wondered whether or not Casey Eschel's strategy would be the winning one at the tail end of the day. With only 8 laps to go, Eschel has gotten himself up into 5th, starting this run in 23rd. He's down to 6th, as a matter of fact, but undeniably, the number 49 machine has something in store for everyone here, and he's using all his momentum and all his power to drive up through the field without much hesitation. The 49 now going to see that one driver goes down to pit road. That's Jeff Morash. Morash makes it in the red, white, and blue Old Spice machine. He'll fall way down the pack as DJ Stagner keeps him on as 7 laps to go for the man at number 64. And Roberto Ramirez on a 47-lap old tire strategy is now going to be second on the night. He passes by Terry Brooks quite easily, and Brooks might be due for a pit stop now as he's losing more and more time, and that's, of course, not what you want to hear for any driver, but the Brooks machine is now fading and fading fast, and faster he fades. He's going to have more drivers coming up on him. Next up going to be Dylan Petit. He could be saving big now, and Stagner now in the 41-second race, just trying to make sure he gets down to the line as a winner, and with 6 laps to do it, any driver would save as much as Stagner would in this position. You don't want to pit. That will give away the win, regardless of who it gives away to. He does not care. He just wants to get it done for his own, and the number 64 with that knowledge might be able to take it down to pit road this time by, and then he does. DJ Stagner stretches, but he won't get the gamble in his favor. Now Roberto Ramirez looks to lead with 5 laps to go here from Michigan. It all gets stalled out once again. The number 42 machine now going to be out in front, but with 5 to do it, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to hold on. He's been on that run for 49 laps. Make that 50 for Terry Brooks. Ramirez going to make it 50 next time around. So a gamble is in motion. And 83 laps into the 87, the 42 machine looking to light the fire here for the Mobil 1 number 42. Now, we mentioned it before. He has design schemes for the Mobil 1 affiliate of Tricon Garage in the real world for the NASCAR Truck Series. But these next gens giving him one hell of a challenge as he's going to have to master one more trip after one more trip, and he'll be begging himself to get down to the checkered flag. But right now, he's getting oh so close to that apex. Will it be down a pit road for him that time by him? No, it won't. Roberto Ramirez now leads with 4 laps remaining here in Michigan, and that's going to be 8 miles to get it done. And now 31 machine of Dylan Petit going to be in second. Terry Brooks falls back into third, and Brooks might be saving just enough to get to the checkered flag. Looking up over the number 23 machine, that might be his end goal. Brooks there now in position number 3, looking at Dylan Petit fading further and further from his view, but this fade from view is not going to be permanent if he plays it all perfect. Imagine that Petit runs out of fuel in that final lap. It would be disastrous. Roberto Ramirez, however, does not have to worry about that. He's going to be far out in front of everyone so far, and it's going to become 3 laps remaining here in, well, Michigan. As they come through once again, it appears that Ramirez is far from giving up, no quit in his operation, and as they go through time and time once more, it appears Ramirez might have the strategy to stick it all the way. If you enjoy the action, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It looks like we didn't go through this beforehand, but I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz. Love to have all the fans out tonight. Truly hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Just a quick, brief intermission as tire strategy is far from over here. 3 laps to go, going to become 2 to go, and Ramirez playing it like an ace. This time by, he's going to be able to pass once again, and it'll become 2 laps to go for the 42 machine. All eyes glued on the leader, and the reason is he could go down pit road at any moment. Dylan Petit, though, is chasing, and he's now only a second back. Looking up over the number 31 machine. Look at how big he gains. The target machine's right on target. And he's as sharp as a knife. Every gear shift, every movement on the wheel, there is always a purpose for Dylan Petit, and a North Wilkesboro winner last season. Well, right now he's chasing down your winner from Sonoma, a road course ringer against a short track ace, and they come to clash at a super speedway, and this will be it. 2 final miles to get this one done. Fuel mileage and tire strategy might determine it. 1 lap to go in the Bearcat Motorsports 175. Look at it go. Roberto Ramirez stealing the show. The 42 machine still out in front. Dylan Petit diving deep, 0.6 of a second away. It's come down to 175 miles of racing, but it could be a half second that separates them. Petit's on a tear. Will Ramirez have anything for him? We'll see. He still has that lead, and that's all you need to succeed. Going through 3 and 4, Petit might dive it deep, and that he will. 0.6. He goes as hard as he can. He's pounding the pavement, but Ramirez gets the turnaround he needs. Welcome back to Momentum in Motor City. It's going to be a winner in Michigan. Roberto Ramirez wins the Bearcat Motorsports 175 and gets it done and puts himself on the right track. Darlington falling out of contention early, and tonight he gets redemption in his first win this season at an oval. And Roberto Ramirez gets it done in style. The number 42 comes home. Your race winner. Before we get your uninterrupted burnout on FTN, we'll get your race results in to make sure you know what's going on as we get to it once more. How about this from, of course, the 42 machine? Here and now, it appears that this man can't be stopped. The Mobile One, number 42, getting the first win of the season. And how about that for him in this one? Undeniable. Ramirez gets it done on his own. Ramirez, 1 second. He gets that win over Dylan Petit. In second, Brad Crest going to be in third. And then Terry Brooks rounds it out there in position number 4. Chad Winstead going to be in 5th. And Adam Bozzi comes in 6th. And it's going to be Alan Kuhlman, who started on 19th, getting himself into position number 7. And it's going to be a hard charger in Terry Brooks there. How about that? As it's going to be Dylan Clark in position number 8. Robert Tenney going to be there in 9th. And it's going to be Corey Blevins rounding it out in 10th. 4 seconds off in that top 10. 11th is going to be Scott Wheeler, 7 seconds off. Then it's going to be James McKee, 13th on the board in his own right. And from there on out, it's going to be Kendall Kerr in 14th and Matthew Rodriguez in 15th. How about that? Jason Harris there in 16th. Justin Gibbs, 17 seconds off in 17th. And Casey Eschel, who qualified far up front with an alternate tire strategy, comes home in position number 18. It's going to be Colton Gardner. A great show for him once again. And 19th spot, continuously building on what he's got in store for this operation. Keep an eye out for the number 40 as Toby Wedgwood rounds out with, I believe, his season best in 20th. A great run for him. As 21st is Andrew Baker, 21. seconds down. Then it's going to be DJ Stagner there in 22nd. Jacob Hahn going to be in 24th as Dalton Beard comes home in 23rd. And then it's going to be Jackson Hartman in 26th with Kenny Brooks rounding at your top 25. The last medal lead lap is going to be Jackson Hartman with 35 seconds off the pace at the tail end. Ryan Pollard going to be one lap down, and so is Connor Holden, Ty Smith, Jeff Morash, and then Tyler Rush with Dylan Body not making it to the green flag. Unfortunate for him. Here we will go again next week, and hopefully we'll see these drivers have a better shot at the victory. And that will be all she wrote here and now. Now we get to see the man out of 42 burn it down in style. What a way to win it for Roberto Ramirez. Let's take a quick look at what he's got in store for us on track. And Ramirez parking it there on the start-finish line. Looks like that's where he might as well stay. And no major burnout, and he's going to celebrate his own way, getting it done here from Michigan. Roberto Ramirez settles himself in position number 1, and what a way to end it on that start-finish line. And there's no better way to finish but in that first position. So how about that for Misfit Mafia, the driver in that number 42. We'll get him in the broadcast booth here and now. It is going to be the 42 machine of Roberto Ramirez. And look at to kickstart your season with a bang. And tonight, you got it done in style. Fuel strategy, tire degradation. You battled every factor and came out on top. Roberto Ramirez, how you feeling at the end of the Bearcat Motorsports 175?
It feels incredible, honestly. I mean, this season has been awful from the start. I mean, just by far some of the worst driving I've ever had on my end, and not one thing has gone right. And after coming off the last 3 weeks, all 3 tracks I thought I could win at, and besides Watkins Glen, the last 2 weeks were extremely disappointing. I didn't even get to start the race last week. But yeah, I got to give credit to my teammate KC for kind of figuring out that we were going to be close on fuel. He told me kind of what the situation was when we pitted, so I saved the whole pace lap, and I was checking my calculator on my phone, and I mean, like I was doing math the whole time, driving with one hand, just trying to figure it out.
Able to figure it out quite nicely. So what was it that kept you out there on that game? Because it seems like tire saving was the way to go for any driver, and you were able to master it to perfection here in Michigan. So what really kept you going at that tail end?
Well, I knew how close I was on fuel and how precise I had to be every single lap, saving an exact amount of fuel. And I could tell that no one else was doing it except for Dylan. Poteet, he was following me, and he wasn't trying to pass me, so I figured out pretty quickly that we were on the same general idea. So, yeah, coasting and not running the corners very hard, it allows you to save a good amount of tire. And once I figured out that I could run it to the end and be fine, I just turned it on and got away from Dylan around Terry, and yeah, it was a very calculated drive.
And able to get it done with all that calculation. Victory in Michigan to get things going here in the Highline Racing League's 15th season. Absolutely what you wanted to see, a victory, and it looks like a bit of a redemption there, but there's still a long way to go in this title hunt. Now, a first win, of course, is going to be the thing that gets you started, but from there on out, the next race on the schedule, well, that's going to be right after Michigan Rockingham, and that's going to be, of course, next week, and a big tricky track. How is the Rock going to treat you when we go there in a week's time?
I feel pretty good about it. I've always liked Rockingham. Ran pretty well last time out in this league in the Xfinity car, but past results don't matter. Just gotta figure out how to be good next week, and I'm hoping that tonight was a catalyst we need to get the season turned around, because I mean, this race is almost a metaphor. I mean, I spent laps on the first run of the race running dead last, 31st, because I just couldn't figure it out. So that's when I knew I needed to do something different, and different it was. Very different result from the rest of the season, and hopefully it's a Kickstarter.
And that's what we'd hope to see too. Roberto Ramirez now getting things started here in Michigan in the Bearcat Motorsports 175. Any final thoughts? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
I want to thank you for putting on the race. Always nice to be able to go back and watch these things and talk to you after the race. It feels good. Thank you.
And there we have it, Roberto Ramirez putting on a great show in his own right, getting it done here in Michigan after 87 laps of straight-up strategy. Thank you once again.
Yep.
There we have it, Ramirez certainly going to be tired after this one and now immediately disconnecting from the session. But one race that he's not going to forget as he puts himself on the map once more. So how about the man who finished in the second spot here tonight for Team Trap House, the number 31 machine, Dylan Petit. Oh, so close at the end there, but just not enough time to catch up for the race win. How do you feel after this one here in Michigan?
Well, that was a up and down race for sure. I mean, I'll never complain for that kind of a finish, but I don't think I had the speed for it. I think I was not very smart at the beginning of the race. I was up there battling for the lead, and I tried to get up there and lead a lap, and it didn't work out. And then I think I killed my right front, and then I free fall to the back. So I kind of just changed my strategy, I guess, for the race, and kind of went into fuel conservation mode on that last run, and happened to just be me and Roberto riding around together that whole run, and sure enough, it ended up being us 1-2 right there at the end. And I think there was a couple of times we were together and we got caught up with some other cars and I lost them, and that kind of determined, I guess, the rest of the race. I tried to catch up to them, but I was also trying to make sure I made it on fuel. So, I mean, I'm going to be happy taking a second. Big points day for sure. Try to cushion myself in the top 10. Definitely needed it after last week because it didn't run very good at Darlington either. So I'll definitely take it, though.
And a great race to take home, a great result. Now, tire strategy and fuel strategy, all the calculation that went into it, how did it make that happen? Because very few drivers seem to have the pace to go to the checkered and have the patience to make it happen without having to pit.
Yeah, it was a lot of patience for sure. Once I kind of free fall to the back on that last, I guess the only caution, I just decided to go back in on one to go and topped off, and I saw we were about, I think it was like 3 to 5 laps short from that point. So I was like, well, I guess I can try to start saving at the start of the run. And it's definitely not a fun process, but I noticed Roberto wasn't really going anywhere either. He kind of let people pass, and then I decided just to ride behind him. And him, and I think it was Ty Smith was behind me. We were just all kind of running together, and then Ryan Potter joined us, and we were just kind of riding in a line. I honestly didn't know if it was going to work or not because I saw everybody was catching us pretty quick, and Brad just about got me off the last corner because I was underneath the 18 there and got tight. So, yeah, usually strategies don't ever go my way. It's very rare when they actually do like that, and that's why I was still kind of shocked it actually worked. I think I had about maybe half a lap to the good on fuel. I think me and Roberto may have ran out about the same time, so I guess it worked out, and big congrats to Roberto on the win. It definitely deserved it, I guess, because we were basically a tandem there, and I just still shocked I got that finish out of it, but yeah, that was a race.
And a great finish, and while it may be a shocker, this could be a kick in the right direction. Now the next race on the schedule, going to be another quite tricky track in Rockingham. How do you feel going into that one?
Rockingham's one of my favorite tracks. I usually like going there, but I said the same thing about Darlington and didn't run very good, so I'm hoping I have a little bit better luck this time around. Just I never ran it in the next-gen car, so that'll be an adventure, just how to get some good practice in it, just get a good feel for the track, and hopefully the Rock is going to be kind to me next week. I'm looking forward to it, though. Rockingham's always a fun track regardless, so we'll see what happens.
And that we will, but ending this one off with a second place finish on the night, Dylan Petit and thoughts. Anyone else you'd like to thank?
I gotta thank Team Trap House, Dylan again, once again, bringing out a new sponsor with the Menard Sylvania scheme today. Was looking forward to running that today. It was kind of a last minute thing. Really glad to get a good finish out of it. And then shout out to you guys that do the broadcast every week and what you do for us. And we always appreciate it and always enjoy being able to go back and watch it later. So put on a good show. And Can't wait for the next one.
And we can't wait either. Going at Rockingham, big momentum swing for Dylan Petit getting it done here in Rockingham. Well, not yet. It'll be Michigan, though, with a second place finish in the Bearcat Motorsports, the 175. Thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
There we have it. Dylan Petit going to be on the way, and the final man in the podium, the number 29 machine in Brad Kress. So we'll get word from him here as the number 29 had pace all night long and was able to come home with a podium finish there on a much different strategy as the top two drivers held on for fuel and barely made it there. You would have been a safe bet if they ran out with just a laps more of racing. So how was it all night long?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting from the driver's seat. I don't know how it was on the broadcast, but man, we were packed in there tight racing. I was just telling those guys, my teammates, if we would have had one more lap, I think I could have got it because the 42 ran out right after we crossed the line, and I was passing the 31 coming across the line. So one lap short.
And as close as the operation for the 29 machine was a very good race when it came to your strategy there. Only one lap short on that one if they did run out at that moment. So what was it that caused you to come in at, of course, the moment you came into? 24 laps before the checkered flag. What really prompted that decision and what helped you claw right back up?
I noticed the front guys were all racing pretty hard. I think I was fourth or fifth or so. And the 5 car behind me called out he was pitting. So I came down in front of him. That way I may at least have someone to draft with when I went back out. And I just took enough fuel to make it and only took 2 tires trying to get there. And when I came back out, I think I was running 11th. And I was like, I thought I screwed myself on the pits. And then my teammate said the top 10 hadn't pitted. So then I was like, man, I got to go. I was just driving the wheels off of it.
And putting the pressure on, it looks like maybe a bit on yourself there, but you put yourself in a great spot for a great finish, third of the night here in Michigan, and oh so close to the checkered flag for yourself. Now, Rockingham is going to be next up on the schedule here, going to be a tricky track in its own right. How do you think you'll be able to prepare for that one?
I love Rockingham. It's one of my favorite places that we go to. I'm not sure how it's going to drive in these cars. We've never raced there before in these. I don't think we've even got a setup for it. So it's going to be exciting, I'd say.
And it's, of course, going to be an exciting event. Once again, another one here where strategy played a major factor. And Brad Kress, you come home third on the night at the end of the day. So any final thoughts? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
Now, I want to thank my aunt and uncle and Virginia for watching me and cheering me on every week. And you guys for putting on the show. And Toby, Kendall, and everyone else that's a part of this thing. Thank y'all.
And there we have it. Brad Kress putting himself in play tonight. Third place, almost second in the line. Thank you once again.
Appreciate it, man.
And there we have it. Brad Kress going to be back on the way as he finishes in third. But Roberto Ramirez, 88 laps in, gets it done in the first spot in the Bearcat Motorsports 175. How about that here in Michigan as he gets it done with a strategy call for the ages. And that's going to wrap up our night of broadcasting live on FTM. 3 great broadcasts. I hope you enjoyed every one of them. And of course, we hope to see you once again whenever we're live on the channel. We'll be live tomorrow night with the Fantasy NR Cup Series, but I'll be back. I'm thinking I'll be back on Sunday night, maybe for something special, but that's going to be not guaranteed Saturday night, though. It's going to be guaranteed with the Stock Car Racing League Red Line Truck. So we'll see how it all plays out then and there. And we thank you all once again for watching live on FTN. This has been the Bearcat Motorsports 175 on the YouTube channel, Fireball Talks NASCAR. If you enjoyed the presentation, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you all once more and hope you have a great night in the Highline Racing League ASC Services and Supply Series live on FTN.